Hi, everybody. Welcome to Reality Hour. I'm Eric Asher. I'm going to be hosting today. Joining me today to talk about America's Got Talent live shows week 4 are Adam and Grace. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing okay. Very stressed. School just started back this week, so I have a lot more work on my hands than I did compared to doing nothing all summer. But I have a 4-day weekend coming up, so I'm happy about that.
Yay. This was the semifinal, which is the third time we're seeing all of these contestants. Or for Adam and Grace, the second time we're seeing all these contestants, if they're following the rules that they set for themselves. And overall thoughts on this episode, I was disappointed.
It was better than the quarterfinals, but that's mostly because most
Was
of the
it?
fodder acts are gone. For me, it was because most of the fodder acts are gone. There were no joke acts for me to roll my eyes at.
It was okay for an AGT episode. It was like, 6 out of 10.
What I'll say is, honestly, most of the acts were better in the last round. A couple were better this round, but most of them I thought were better in the quarterfinals. There weren't as many bad acts, but none of the acts really all the acts except for one did not step it up, in my opinion. So, and with that depressing note, let's dive into the acts. Let's start with Peter. Peter Rosalita. I was gonna try to make like a missing my cue joke, but I guess I can't do that if I'm one already talking.
I could do it,
I
technically.
didn't see that on his YouTube performance. I heard about it.
Yeah, they cut it. I watched both the like unedited and the YouTube
They
version.
edited it out?
I don't think they edited it. I think they just cut it and started the video after the flub.
Good. I mean,
I gotta watch this now. What happened?
Apparently he missed his cue and then recovered really well. I watched like the second half of this performance, if I'm honest, because that was the interesting part. And I don't really find it fun to watch a child screw things up on national TV. I don't think that's fun. I will say he's got the most views of anyone this week by a lot on YouTube, and I think he's probably safe and probably finishes between 6th and 10th next week.
You think he's bottom 5?
Of a finale, yes.
Yeah, I think he's for sure going to make the finale. The performance, first off, rule number 1 of singing without you.
Don't sing it, yes.
Unless you're Mariah Carey.
Even if you're Mariah Carey, she doesn't sing anymore. You know that.
No, she doesn't. She just takes her clothes off and touches herself.
Oh, she lip syncs, but you know.
Oh yeah. I thought it actually started out rough. Maybe it was just too low for him. The verses were too low for him. The chorus I thought was better, but there were parts where it sounded like he was shouting at me. So I understand he's only 10, but
he is only 10.
Training. I said the same thing about Victory a few weeks ago, but get some training, kid. Don't screw it up. Don't end up like Whitney Houston and just wreck your voice at some point.
Yeah, but again, he's 10. It's amazing what he's doing because he's 10. But I mean, he's sailing through. He's gonna be safe.
He's gonna make it through, no doubt.
Yeah, 100%. So, Adam, did you watch this? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I watched everything. I watched all. I really agree with Grace. I did think he was shouting at me a lot of the time. I thought he was good. I mean, the song choice is really. I wanted to ask you guys, because I'm only watching the performances, not the judges, not the intro packages, not even reading anything online. But does he have like a story or something like really big? That's
no sob story.
No sob story.
And I don't think he was on another show. He's from the Philippines. And they do have the Voice kids over there. But
his story is that he's from the Philippines.
And everyone from the Philippines can sing.
Yep.
We all know this.
I mean,
if you ever watched X Factor, you would know that.
Yes, I have. I do.
Overall, I thought the performance, it was okay. It was passable, which is, fine. I think the most shocking thing for me about this performance that continued throughout the episode is he almost got like 3 minutes for performance. Like the length of musical performances, I was like, "Whoa, we're doing a lot more here." I mean, it's like finally.
To be fair, also this song, the chorus just repeats the same line over and over again, so it feels longer.
Well, they were actually longer performances. I noticed that with Jimmy at the end, and I'm happy about that, because if we're only going to do 4 performances, at least let them be 4 full songs if we're going to do that. I mean, I prefer them to do more than 4 performances for a season, but at least for longer, I guess.
I don't know why we haven't done this beforehand. Like, why it took so long for us to, the longer the better for the performance. I mean, it's less shtick for the judges,
Yeah, we don't need to hear the judges. We want to hear the contestants. Anyway, any other thoughts on Peter?
I do. I want to know why. Like I said, I'm not keeping up with everything outside of the performances. Why do you guys think he is getting so many views?
Philippines. For the most
That's
part.
a good point.
I mean, the Filipino contestants always get a ton of views. I will say, I'm not sure that all the views will translate to votes, which is why he's not actually going to win this show. He's going to be in the 6 through 10.
That and there are other better acts.
Yes, that too. That's the bigger thing. But mostly that the people who are watching him can't really vote for him. So that also helps.
Right. Because, I remember when Tess Ann Chin was on The Voice, people were wondering about that. Because she's from Jamaica, and she was, huge over there in Jamaica. And, I mean, she ended up winning, so it didn't really matter in the long run.
Yeah.
But people were wondering, if having so many Jamaican fans would either hurt her in the votes or help her big time if she was ever up for the Twitter save. We never got to find out, but.
Yep.
She was one of the best voice winners.
Mm-hmm. For me, she is, after Allison Porter, my favorite of the ones that I watched.
You know who I would put as number 1, Grace.
Yeah, I do. But anyway, let's move on to Michael Winslow. Speaking of plants who have won, who have been on reality shows, let's talk about Michael Winslow.
Yes. I know, Eric, you talked about this last time, thought it was just a bunch of sound effects, but really no material. This time it was pretty much the same thing.
It was actually even less material than last time.
I actually did like this better, because at least I was able to follow it somewhat with the categories. It's Simon was make animal noises, and then he made a bunch of animal noises. Make hardware noises. Make a bunch of hardware noises. So that was a little bit easier to follow, but he limped into this round already. And given that he is the biggest plant that has probably ever been on this show, I don't think it's going to be.
Who's bigger, Adam? Tell me who's bigger.
I feel like if I did research, I would find some of it. I don't think he's the biggest plant.
He is 100% the biggest. And there's no one that comes close, actually. So. But anyway, I liked it, but I didn't love it, and it was missing, again, the same issue as last time. No jokes, no story, nothing to really tie it together, just a bunch of random sound effects. And granted, I like that he put them in categories and have the judges pick them. That was a nice twist, sort of, I guess. But yeah, he's a goner. He's in the death spot. He needed the save last time. He's a goner. So
yeah, the whole act, like you guys said, it just has no narrative. It's just a parroting of sound effects. And I got to be honest, I think it was when he was doing the ocean sounds, I was like, I don't even know what this is at some points. I was like, I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, what is this sound? And I just couldn't come up with it. I was like,
at least when the other people do impressions, they're singing, so there's something to tie it together most of the time.
That sucks. I hate those too, but
yeah, I'm not crazy about those either, but this had very little to tie it together. So it was just kind of meh.
I feel like he was going for the Tom. I don't know if you guys remember Tom Cotter.
It was exactly what I was thinking of.
I was thinking he was going for that and just fell short, and that's what I think was the problem here.
Yeah, basically.
I don't even know. I'm not personally wowed by that kind of the Tom Cotter, hey, pick which one, and I'll do a routine about it. It just seems
Unless
hey,
make it seem like it's more real, I'm actually improvising.
It seems more like a party trick. You're trying to show, look, because dance acts and sing, and not dance acts, magic acts, they have a surprise element to it. Mm-hmm. This kind of act doesn't, and I think that's the closest you can come to it, I think. So that's maybe, do you agree, disagree?
I feel like the problem with doing it this way, with leading up the chance, is that you have 3 minutes on the stage, and you shouldn't leave that chance. You should pick your best stuff.
I agree, because maybe maybe the other ones other than the ocean would have been better. Like totally, if I'm disregarding the whole fact that it has no narrative throughout it, maybe, the ocean was the weaker link. Like if you make 5 categories, inevitably 1 or 2 are going to be the weakest ones. So why are they even there? Yes. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So you're just handicapping yourself when you don't really need to.
Right.
And I feel like this, like I said last week, this is better for the recording studio than it is for a live stage.
I mean, look, I think he could have like a good career in voice. Well, I guess he already has a good career, ironically enough, funnily enough. But like that's where he belongs. Like this, not all talent translates to the AGT $1 million performance stuff.
Right.
But sometimes the talent is something smaller that can you can build a career on and do whatever. But I don't think it just doesn't translate to an AGT stage. Like you could be really good at juggling.
Said about like all of those crazy danger acts, and yet they still put them through. Although they make for better television.
That's variety. They just need something extra there, because we need those moments of Howie going, "Look how dangerous it is," and then when he pointlessly narrates as they're oh look, they're putting on dynamite. What?
I know it pissed you off, but we'll get there.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's not that it pissed me off. It was just Simon's reaction to it was hysterical. It made me actually appreciate Simon for the first time in a long time. But let's talk about the dance act.
If I was me, I messed up the lyrics. I messed it up.
We're gonna get copyright strikes anyway. So.
If you just talk it.
We can get a copyright strike for any song except this one because I freaking hate this song. This is like the most like irritating song in the world to me, and like I didn't write anything down from his act. When I wrote in all caps.
How is this song more irritating than Baby Shark?
Oh, it's way worse than Baby Shark.
Baby Shark has ironic humor in it.
Baby Shark is for children, and that's an excuse.
Children
I literally wrote 3 words in my notes for this act.
I hate this song.
That's all I wrote.
4 words, Adam.
Well, I included the I. Potato.
Yep.
For me, like, I am not at all surprised that they got the wild card at this point. Like, I kind of if I had to pick one act to get the wild card, I figured it would be them or the Dogs. This to me, their performance, beyond belief, Dance Company. By the way, I don't think we ever formally introduced them.
It is beyond belief that they would pick such a terrible song.
This for me was like the exact performance that got them kicked off the show in the first place. The only difference was that there was an ice cream truck on stage.
Okay. I didn't watch it. I heard 20 seconds of a song. I know it. 5 seconds of a song. 5 seconds of a song.
On mute.
I could have done that in retrospect, but they didn't deserve to be watched on mute because if they had any choice, I mean, they didn't have any choice in the song. Let's face facts. The song was given to them, so I can't blame them.
They're children and they don't even do their own choreography or pick the music.
I can't blame them, but whoever picked that song, I blame you. So
I didn't even know they were wild cards until after like I'd finished the show, and then I was like rewatching 1 or 2, and then I heard they were wild cards in the comments. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That was pretty much my thought because, of course, this is how AGT handles the wild cards. And they're kids who are probably like thrilled to get to perform on America's Got Talent stage. They're just out of their league, and the performance is just it's not what it needs to be to advance. And
there is absolutely nothing wrong with the performance. Like, it really wasn't terrible at all. But it just doesn't hold up on this show.
Are you including the soundtrack in that? There's nothing wrong with the performance?
Get over it!
That is the most memorable part about this act for Grace. This is what she will carry with them from them moving on.
I mean, when Dancing with the Stars starts in a couple of weeks, I'm going to rip on their songs too.
What if someone does this song on that show?
I won't be watching, so I won't care.
No, he'll just be watching our podcast and ripping on us in the comments. And rooting for Steve Wozniak, even though he got kicked off the show years ago.
Eric rooted for him?
No, I didn't watch. Anyway,
He loves the
Aiden's
pause for
in
things
it.
that don't involve dancing. Now let's talk about Aiden.
Any thoughts?
He was pretty good. I didn't think he was amazing. I thought it was, look, aerial acts there's just not much you can do with them, sadly. Like it's just played out at this point. And if you're watching the show for the first time and you've never seen something like this before, maybe it's, you might find it very wow or like interesting. But as someone who has watched this show for so many times and has seen this kind of act so many times and done better, it's just not really that memorable. He's still good. I think he'll make it to the next round. But
I feel like if he does make it, he's gonna need someone to save him.
maybe, but like
I think he's making it through this week, but I don't know. I just basically Adam took all the words out of my mouth. I mean, he's impressive, but I've seen it before, I've seen it better, and it's not really my thing. So
yeah, and
on the "seen it better" comments, he is a teenager.
Oh, 100%.
He doesn't have the experience of like.
He literally learned this in his bedroom. Apparently, is what he said.
Must have a really epic bedroom.
Okay. Episode title.
Dude is talented. I think he's going to need a save to make it. I don't think he'll be in the top 3.
I'm not sure. I think
I don't think he's going to win by any means. I definitely don't think
no chance. No chance.
But I definitely also he's 16. He has the whole world ahead of him.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, he's amazing for his age, and in general, he's pretty damn great. Just not my thing. I've seen it too many times.
Yeah.
Tori Vegasy.
Can you feel love? No, don't make me start singing.
Well, so now we have Howie and Simon busing her, so she's gone, right?
She was gone anyway.
I mean, she was gone regardless, but.
Well, Howie dug on her last week because he hates musical theater.
No, Howie's been busing her since her first audition. It's a miracle she's still here.
Just like last time, she sang the song really well, but I was totally bored. This is exactly what got her to needing the save this time around, and I don't think she's going to get it this time or even be up for it.
Correct.
I didn't realize she got bussed. Like I watched it, I was like, it's okay. It was kind of tepid and kind of, straightforward. Nothing really special. It was weirdly pageanty for this song.
Well, that's the song.
What?
That's the song.
No, the song isn't the kind of pageant song you'd
It's a Disney song. They're all pageanty. Every Disney ballad is like pure pageantry, pretty much.
She sang it well. It was on key.
Mm-hmm.
Just wasn't anything special.
Okay. World Taekwondo demo team.
Who are special.
I will say there were fewer mistakes this time than last time. I still preferred last time.
A lot of mistakes this time. I was watching it going, there are a lot of, I was almost up to 2 hands counting the bit boards that were missed. But that's their own fault. They set the standard too high for themselves. I mean, just too many things that they were trying to do that, of course, it's like running an obstacle course, without touching any, walls or poles. It's just, you set the bar too high for yourself, and then obviously you can't do it perfectly.
To be fair, they were blindfolded for much of it.
That's now going through the obstacle course blindfolded.
And they were throwing the boards up into the air. So we couldn't really keep them steady.
I will say, this was more trick heavy and less. What I liked about them is that they sort of combined elements of the dance act before with the actual tricks and stuff. And I kind of miss the dance parts of it a little bit. Because I feel like the combination is what makes them a really great act.
Yes.
But so I miss the mix. Having said that, obviously they're making it through. Obviously they have a very good chance of winning this show, and they would be deserved winners. So,
see, my fear was last week, because they performed last week and they performed again this week, was that they might run the risk of becoming stale. I'm not entirely convinced that they did. Maybe that's just me. I still think they're going to make it. I can't say who's going to win at this point. But definitely they bring out energy every time. Their timing at the beginning was good. They're very tight. And yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts.
I thought it was cool. I think it was like watching real life video game people, you know?
And you didn't like them last week.
It was good, but it was still like, I don't think it was a wowzer, but it was solid. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Grace, I'll let you take the next one.
All right, next we have Madeline Bailey, the second biggest plant to ever be on the show. This time she performed one of her original songs at the advice of Simon Cowell called Red Ribbon, which she actually dedicated to her grandmother after she passed away. I'm not going to go all Howie Mandel on us. Now, I can understand Howie is entitled to his opinion. But Simon Cowell saying that accusing Howie of talking out of his ass was the best 5 seconds of television that this show has produced, probably in a long time. But let's talk about the performance, since we're not actually talking about the judges. I thought it was okay. I understand she was emotional and she cracked at one point. She even admitted that. And it's kind of hard to connect to originals, so that might be a not. I still think she could make it through. I won't be upset if she doesn't. You think she's gone?
Oh, she's a total goner. Because I mean, first of all, she based on the fact that she needed the save last time, despite having so many fans already, proves that her fans aren't showing up for her. And right. I honestly, and this didn't motivate. This won't motivate other people to vote for her. And I'll say, I didn't love it. I still think Howie crossed the line, but I didn't love this performance. I just felt something about her voice just doesn't sit right with me, and I don't know what it is.
The vibrato was kind of machine gunnish.
Yeah, the vibrato is the issue. But I mean, not bad, but not my thing.
Howie liked her audition because it was comedic. Her last 2 performances haven't been, so I don't know if she's just like trying to hit every point and not establish a clear identity. Is that her problem?
No. I don't know what her problem is. I don't know what Howie's problem is. But Adam, go ahead.
Well, Howie has a lot of problems, but we don't have time for that.
I mean, I've been following Madeline for a while, and I will say she has a very unique voice. I think it's a bit of an acquired taste. I think it's kind of a love it or hate it. I personally really like it. I don't think this performance, though, was that great. I think it would have been...
I kind of liked her more when she did covers than when she started doing originals. I was kind of just like not really feeling them as much.
Yeah, I still love her cover of Something Just Like This. I think that's the best performance I've heard of hers on YouTube. And like I said, it's kind of, her voice reminds me a little bit of like Gina Irene. I know this is a bit of a weird comparison, where it just kind of, let me say, not in like the traditional, but I mean like it's acquired taste. It's different. Like they're not singing like in a normal, they kind of have a spin on it when they sing. And that's how I kind of think Madeline does it. But I think she shines the best in kind of the indie pop genre. Mm-hmm. And this was weirdly almost pageanty also, if that makes sense. But, I feel like she works better with the, like I said, just, I think her comfort zone is that indie pop genre. And as what she was going with here, I think for the audience, I don't know if I just was watching her here. I don't know what kind of artist she is. Like, what does she do?
She's done 3 completely different things.
Yeah, there's been no consistency. It's just been new thing. It's like someone throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. Mm-hmm. And I think that was to her detriment, or will be if she is cut. I still like her though, and I would like her to go through. I just think she's a little done.
Yeah, like I don't know if she's like trying to be like a jack of all trades and a master of none, or if that's just how her AGT, that's kind of how her AGT run has presented itself. Now, like Adam, I have been following her on YouTube for quite a while. And when you say, her voice is an acquired taste, music is an art form, and all art forms are subjective to some level. So there are a lot of people that really don't like her that much. That's fine. I don't know if this show is I don't really think she needed the show in the first place.
Well, she didn't, but
I mean, it probably helped her Instagram follower count.
She has more YouTube subscribers than AGT has viewers anymore. Also, Simon Cowell saying that AGT is the biggest show on television, slow down. He actually did say that.
He said that?
Yeah, he's like,
what's the biggest show now? What would you guys say is?
I don't even know.
There isn't one.
I will Stranger Things?
Actually,
that's not even on TV.
Ratings, so
what was that?
The Masked Singer is getting better ratings.
Well, The Masked Singer is also pure novelty, which a lot of people thought American Idol was too when it first started.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway.
But AGT, I mean, it might be the biggest summer show still, but that's because it has no competition. But when was America's Got Talent the biggest show on television? Because I certainly missed the memo.
A couple years ago, kind of was, but
what for you guys was peak AGT? What was?
Probably before I started.
Wise, Grace Vanderwall season. I don't think talent-wise, Grace Vanderwall season.
No.
But rating-wise.
Oh, boy. Yeah. I hope Madeline does okay in the future. I just don't think the show really did her any favors.
Nope. Anyway, Justin Tavella.
Our magician.
Is he our only magician?
He's the only magician in this episode. There's a mentalist next round.
Are mentalists and magicians the same thing?
Yes.
Sort of.
Yes.
And there's Leah next week too.
Yes. Leah's the best magician on the show. But anyway, Justin, not a bad trick.
No.
I've seen way better. And the best, I'm just going to put up a side note. Sophia saying, I thought you meant ex-husband, was funnier than anything any comedian has said on this show all season.
Although Heidi has 2 ex-husbands, but if Seal had fallen down from the skies, I would have been so I would have just run out of the room. I
mean, genuinely, that was the funniest line of the season. I mean, and I hate Howie, but his "I'm colorblind" was pretty good too. But not as good as I thought you meant ex-husband. What the fuck did that come from?
No, what would have made it funnier though is if someone made a jab and was like, "Which one?" Since she has more than one.
Okay, but anyway, my point is that the trick itself wasn't super memorable because the judges' comments during it were much better than the trick itself. So,
yeah.
What do you think?
The magic part of this act is weirdly the weakest part every time.
Yeah.
Which is very weird to say for a magician.
With him, it's very story driven because he's a family man. He has a wife and children. And we all know at this point that people just eat that kind of stuff up on these shows. So dude is clearly playing the reality show game like a harp, but it gets annoying after a while.
It just, I'm weirdly disconnected. If you take the story out and just focus on the trick, it's very
explainable.
Yes.
Anyone could learn it in an afternoon kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm baffled that he's doing so well. Nothing against him. I mean,
there's not a lot of magic this year too, so people that watch the shows for magic.
I don't know. I used to love magic. Was my go-to. That was the category I used to love. I mean, there was Matt, there was Colin, there was, before he went all whatever was going on his YouTube page. But
No.
Do you guys watch any of those videos? I watched one and I watched it for 30 seconds and I was like, okay, I've had enough for a lifetime. I thought he was gonna do some magic and there was no magic. The only magic he did was make me click off. But
I can make my viewers tune out in 30 seconds.
Look, it's not for me. It's content for a younger generation, and he's doing great. So, nothing against him.
Okay.
Do we think he's making it through?
Yes. Who is? If he's not,
How many people are going through?
5.
I had Madeline in my top 5, but I don't even think that's going to happen anymore.
Oh, if you think Madeline's going through, you're in for a rude awakening.
I won't be surprised if she doesn't.
Okay, Madeline's a goner. I'm going to bet you. I'm actually going to make a bet on that Madeline's gone this week.
I would go Peter.
Because I don't think she's making. I thought initially she was making it through, but now I'm not convinced she is.
I'm convinced she's not even up for a save. But anyway.
Okay. Korean Soul.
I didn't watch this one because I read pitch issues and I'm like, okay, so they're gone. And then I moved on with my life.
But hey, there were no asteroids this time. That's the best part of this.
Okay, that's an improvement. I'll give them that.
They sang You Say, which is still overdone as hell.
That is not an improvement. I take it back.
Wait, there's a song that's worse than the asteroid song?
No, it's not worse. It's not worse. It's just not much better.
Which is worse? The asteroid song or Me Too?
Me too. Me too, 100%.
Me
Really?
Too is not a singer song. You don't even need to be a good singer to pull the song off. Just ask Meghan Trainor.
Close. I've heard good versions of the asteroid song. Or at least not bad versions. I mean, David Cook did it really well on Idol, but
I was gonna say, like, list of people who can actually sing the asteroid song. Steven Tyler. That's about it.
Well, I disagree. Anyway, so my favorite story about the asteroid song, I'm sure I've told was on the podcast before, but literally Kelly Clarkson does a cover on every single night of her tour. But the night I see her in Baltimore, guess what song she picks?
That song. Someone else I know was at that same concert.
Yeah.
And like hate messaged me that.
Hate messaged?
So funny.
Grace is getting hate messaged.
I'm like,
no,
oh.
He was like, they were like ranting. They were just like, oh, the asteroid song, really?
Why'd you have to pick this one tonight? Yeah, but anyway,
she's done worse things in her life than that.
No. Anyway, Gina, I don't know anything else to say about Korean Soul. Do I have a review?
The harmonies.
I thought they were okay.
Tighter.
I mean,
I don't think they're going to survive this week.
They're goners.
Adam and I need to stop talking over each other.
It's. I don't even know how that's happening. Grace, it's a conspiracy.
Oh God, it's like my students. I start talking and then they start talking just to annoy me.
Does it work?
Yes.
Gina.
This was better than her quarterfinal performance for me. Probably because I identified better with the material. Her personality is just a little bit dry for me, I guess.
That's a bad thing to say to a comedian. That is like the ultimate dunk.
No, not necessarily. There are dry comedians that are really funny. Like, what's his name?
But she wasn't saying it in that way, like that.
Well, I mean, they don't need to be outwardly wacky, but I like dry humor sometimes, most of the time, actually.
I'll put it this way: I didn't laugh once. I smiled at the last joke, but I didn't laugh at anything. So,
well, I identified with her humor about kids being annoying because I'm a teacher, so I deal with it every day.
Okay, that's fair. I really want a comedian to win this show, but we need a really good comedian on the show first for that to happen. And we had
the closest we came.
What?
Who was the closest we came?
Ryan Niemiller 2 years ago.
He didn't.
He came in third.
Yeah, we had Taylor and
Tom Cotter came in second. Tom Cotter was a different.
They came in second. Ryan Niemiller is the funniest stand-up comedian that's been on the show. By a mile.
Magic Dragon.
Comedy
is not a stand-up comedian.
Tape Face.
Comedy. Those are not. I'm talking about stand-up comedians.
I think the best was Taylor.
Having seen Taylor and having seen Ryan both do stats in person, Taylor's wasn't as good. They were both good, but Ryan's was better.
Why don't you just stick a knife in my heart, Eric?
I know I said earlier that music is really subjective, and Howie says all the time that comedy is really subjective.
Paul Zerdin also?
Well, Paul Zerdin was a ventriloquist.
Yeah, again, not a stand-up comedian.
But Howie Mandel says all the time that comedy is subjective. I said earlier that music is subjective. I feel like comedy's even more subjective because I feel like everyone has some sort of music that they like. There's people like me who just feel like they don't really like comedy because they've never been able to find someone that they like.
Yeah, I agree. Comedy is very subjective. I just want someone to be really good on the show. Okay.
I thought she's DOA. She was already DOA.
She's not DOA. I think she has a chance of advancing.
All right, let's talk about in the pimp spot
again. Jimmy Harad. And I will give him credit this week for a song choice that did not suck. And I actually thought this was performance of the night for me. He nailed this performance. And I now think he is a dark horse to win this show.
Parade Magazine had an article, and they basically said they think, and I don't agree with this, but they think it's going to come down between Jimmy and Victory. I don't think Victory is even making the top 5. I
think Victory might make top 5, but she's not going to
be like 4th or 5th if she does.
She's not going to win. I think he has a very good chance of winning this show. And now that he's picked a song that I don't hate, and if he picks Summer Song I don't hate next round, I'll be okay with that.
But like the fact that he was in the pimp spot, his last episode too.
I know.
If he gets it in the finale too, like people are going to throw stones.
No, they're not.
Performance order matters.
It matters, but I will say people already know AGT is fake at this point. At least I hope they do. And if they don't, they're not paying enough attention.
Or they're not watching us.
Literally. So did we talk about the fact that 3 auditions had a fucking fake audience? Did we talk about that?
Yes, because didn't I get called out for not knowing that when Sethward's audition aired?
I think you might have. But literally, there's a fake audience, and the judges Heidi turns around to them, to the people who are not there, and says, "Hey, what do you think I should do?" And I'm like,
this show just likes to insult our intelligence.
They probably had cardboard people in the chair. They just giving thumbs up or doing reaction shots. So when someone's having some big moment, there's some guy with his mouth open,
Oh God, that meme from I think it was Australia's Got Talent that won't be being surprised. That's what it was.
Just this.
Adam, talk about Jimmy.
Okay.
This show really wants us to talk about Jimmy because he's in the pimp spot twice. They are pushing this guy. And I think this is do we still do TCOs? Chosen ones? Because this guy seems like very much producer favorite. I'm not as impressed. I think he's good. The whole thing about him is his voice is very unique and it's not kind of what you would expect. I don't know. I'm just not. I just don't dig it. I mean, it's just as you say.
Bored. Every performance, I find myself a little bit bored. But the dude can sing.
He can sing. That's not in question. It's just because he's in the pimp spot and the show's really going to be pushing him. They're going to be wanting him to do similar songs every week. The big ballads. I mean, if he was an American Idol contestant, I would be looking for him to switch it up, do something different. It just feels kind of samey,
Well, the benefit and the drawback of American Got Talent, the benefit is for him that he only has to do 4 performances, and therefore
there you go.
Doesn't get tired. But the drawback for us is that if we wanted to see someone switch things up, there's no motivation for him to do so.
Mm-hmm. And there's no room for a growth arc with a shortened format, which actually works.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just got to do the same thing, honestly.
Golden Buzzer withdrew from the competition. Do we think that Simon wants him to win?
No. I don't think Simon cares about that singer winning anymore now that he doesn't have a label. And so I think that I genuinely think that Simon does not care who wins as long as they make good TV.
Who would that be?
That would be Victory, actually.
Victory scores the victory.
But I don't think he's going to get what he wants. I think he wants her to win, but I don't think she's going to.
I don't think she will either. If Jimmy wins, I will not complain.
All right.
I won't complain about. There are 4 acts that can win this show, and I will not complain.
Real question: Who's
Jimmy,
winning?
the
Who's going through?
Taekwondoers, Leah, and who's the other one?
Who are the 5 going through?
Did they? What? No, Grace, what'd you say? Who was
Wait, so your 4 are Jimmy, the Taekwondo group, Leah, and who's the 4th one?
Brooke.
Oh, Brooke. Yeah. Okay.
Who are
And
your
Adam
5
wants to know
guys
who we
moving
think are
on?
going through.
Who's moving on tonight?
Well, we don't know because the result hasn't aired yet.
No, who's your prediction? Like who's?
Eric, go.
I'm trying to figure it out. So I think Aiden, Taekwondo, Dustin, Gina, Jimmy.
I had Peter on my list, so I would have switched
Oh,
out.
Peter and Gina actually. I'd say Peter is a yes.
Yes.
Jimmy is a yes.
Mm-hmm.
Taekwondo is a yes.
You think they're going to be the top 3?
And yes, they're the top 3, and then the other 3 are who knows.
Mm-hmm. I originally had Jimmy, Taekwondo, Peter, Madeline, and Aiden, but I don't think Madeline's making it through anymore.
Oh, she's gone. She is gone.
Yeah, I would switch out Madeline for probably Dustin, even though I wasn't impressed with him. And there's no way he's making top 5.
Correct. I think the only people who could make top 5 are Jimmy and Taekwondo.
Mm-hmm. Adam, who do you think?
I would say here's how I would say the top 3 of my predictions: Peter, Taekwondo, Jimmy. Then the 3 in the danger zone, I would put Gina, Madeline, and Aiden.
You think Dustin's gone?
Oh well,
Switch.
Dustin over Madeline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now we have a consensus. Okay. So next week we will briefly, on the top of the episode, address results from this week.
Mm-hmm.
It won't take us long because I'm assuming we're going to get everything right. So the show is nothing if not predictable at this point.
Very.
I was saying this since for a lot of years.
Yes.
AGT, just watch it once and then,
That's the better way to do it. But anyway, I'm wrapping it up now. I want to say I'm Eric Asher. You can find me on Twitter there. And at YouTube at bit.ly/EricLoveEds. Grace, where can we find you?
Reality2_Grace on Twitter. Next Wednesday morning, I'll be at work, unfortunately, when this happens. But next Wednesday, the Dancing with the Stars season 30 cast will be announced. Adam and I will be unpacking it at some point. We'll probably do the draft after AGT ends. We have to figure that out. But no, there's been some spoilers already. I don't want to talk too much about them, mostly because none of them I'm very happy about. And Adam knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I am excited for the season.
Okay, Adam, where can we find you?
Inside.
Yes, if you're under tornado warning and flash flood warning like we are, please stay inside.
Yes. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter. There.
I'm so bad at figuring out where to point because the camera is reflected and
Mirrors, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, I'm gonna wrap us up. See you all next week, and thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.